So again, thank you for being with us today. And first of all, be patient because I'm an R&D guy, so I'm not that used to talk with in public with a lot of people. So be patient, right? And I have a partner in crime today, Raffaele.
Yes, I'm the worst enemy of him because I'm a purchase manager of Sublitex, that is a company of Miroglio Group in Italy.
Okay, so we can start today. We're talking about a case, a business case or a process that is not new, but during the relationship with a big customer like Sublitex, we found out through numbers and we went deeper in the process. So we're able to say that it may not be the sole technology that tends to be more sustainable in the textile industry, but for sure, dye sublimation is a process that, even though it's well known, has a lot of values in terms of circularity and sustainability for a number of reasons that we're gonna go talk about today. With that being said, don't take us wrong, as JK Group, we're a chemical manufacturer, and we do have a lot of R&D activity and products on other chemistry. We strongly believe, like a lot of other presenters say today, in pigment printing for the next future for a number of reasons that are well mentioned. But again, there is a case that is dye sublimation that has a lot of values in it. Okay. First of all, who we are, a couple of numbers about each other. JK Group, the company I work for, is a chemical manufacturer. We do produce around 3.5 million of ink per year, divided by dye sublimation, reactive, pigment, and disperse. Everything is in textile market. We are around 10 people in the department, more than 14 people in a general product safety and compliance department. Also through our consociate, another company connected to us. We comply to more than 8 plus between voluntary and mandatory certification, and we do produce only digital inks for textile printing technology. MS Printing Solution, part of our group in Dover Corporation, is a machine manufacturer. Most of you guys probably know them. There are almost 2,000 machines installed with more than 30 engineers in the R&D department. When it comes to one-pass machine, MS was the first one that proposed a solution, the Lario, and there are more than 30 Lario in the world. And when it comes to sustainability of the hardware itself, MS Printing Solution to the ACIMIT, that is the Italian Association of the Printing and Manufacturing Machinery, we do have the green label in order to be more efficient as we can. Naturally, we are only active in inkjet business.
Some numbers about Sublitex. Is a company that is built on 1976. It produces for each year around 60 million of square meters of something. Something means because we print paper, polyester film, and we have customers all over the world. We are in more than 50 different countries when we deliver polyester film and paper, and also fabric, also polyester fabric. Our process is have a look since the beginning on water-free or at least waterless process as much as possible. And in fact, if we have a look on consumption of water between 2010 and 2018, we consume with more volume, 85% of water less. That's a proof that we have a look on consumption of water since many years.
Again, it was mentioned many times in this conference, and we fully agree with that. The industry, the textile industry challenge in the next years is about sustainability, generally speaking. So ensure that the output is both less impactant on human health and the environment, and also output that is sustainable for what is concerning the cost, the distribution, and supply chain, generally speaking. Circularity and And sustainability in the textile supply chain is not an effort that someone can take on himself. It's a team effort between all the actors of the supply chain, meaning from the producer to the fabric, to who does the machinery and the chemicals, and at the end, the producer. And even more, in the next time, like the European representative said before, also the end of the life of the textile is something that is going to be taken into consideration. So there are more than one technology. We don't believe in one sole technology. We talk a lot about pigment this morning, but it's not the only one. So we would like to present some numbers in order to say that dye sublimation printing, that is not a new technology, but is a technology that is evolving quite a bit in the last years. It is a sustainable approach, and it is a sustainable solution for the printing of the polyester material only. Yeah? Couple of numbers that we found out, and then during the presentation we go deeper on it in order to just explain what we found out in the dye sublimation production chain. First of all, there is and there will be a very, very big increase in the polyester fabric producers. And the trend in the data that we analyze say that in the last 3 years, recycled polyester went up in this area more than 500%, going from almost 10 to 49% of usage. So this is a big part, because in a textile, in the textile value, the fabric itself is basically the main weight, right? We all know that. Also, we went deeper because one, I wouldn't say accuse, but one think about sublimation printing was, it is naturally the use of the paper. So we went deeper in the paper producers. We did some interview with some paper mills. We found out good things because the sustainability request for them is also important. And we can say pretty much not only one, but more than one main producer of paper that we interviewed say that the process of the paper is more so from the water and the energy point of view is almost closed. So there is a very little paper involved, and 90%, 98% of this water, it is recycled in the same mill at the same time, just with some filtration. Also, we started comparing the print with the dye sublimation, print and transfer, comparing that with other technology, and we found out savings that are going up to 40% in gas and 20% in electricity. That also definitely is quite a big number, and naturally, if it comes to the process, dye sublimation have the big advantages to basically do not use any water. So we say 99%, but it is probably even more, okay?
Now we start to go deeply into each step of the process on the print of polyester. First of all, for what about we are talking today? We're talking about polyester that based on the data that is shown from Textile Exchange is 52% of fiber used all over the world. So polyester is still the major part of all the turnover of market share of fiber, if we can talk about that, is by polyester. And if we go ahead, we go directly with the data that provide us the biggest trader of Como area that show us the difference of sales of polyester fabric from 2019 and 2022. So 3 years ago, it was 10% of turnover of polyester. Now is 49–50%. I think that most of us know why, because the biggest retailers start to have a look. On 2019, produce a document that says in the next years, the recycled polyester will be shown in the shop for the biggest part. Most of the clothes are made from recycled polyester. For this reason, the sales move in that direction.
Another, for sure, big trend of the industry, and we all know that this industry, it is brand driven. The main actor, the main brands all over the world are showing us between a number of organizations, a number of public announcements, that they are all going for a very, very high use of recycled polyester, someone by 2025, someone by 2030, but the main actor of the chain when it comes to branding, both from sportswear and fashion, are pushing this a lot. And in a way, they are helping the sustainability of the whole thing, because naturally polyester, it is from petrol, but if you start using massively recycled polyester, it's definitely a value for the sustainability and the circularity of the whole thing.
Yes, maybe the slide before is not easy to see from us, but
okay. We are talking, some numbers.
We are talking about sport brands, fashion brands, and also we see that IKEA. We talk about home product.
Adidas and a lot of others. The main brands that are using massively polyester, they are all pushing for higher usage of recycled polyester.
If we go, we talk about fabric before. Now we have a look on paper. So we talk about sublimation. It starts from a printing machine over the paper. And as David said before, also the producer of that, we asked that data show on sustainable report of Beaver producer of paper. They use roughly 3.7 liters of water for each kilo of paper. But based on this quantity, 98% is reused, because they have a many system of filtration of that. So for that reason, only 2% of water of this 3.7 liter, it became wastage. And that's a point of using of water. Then also the improvement of R&D of technology help us like a customer and also them to use a lighter paper. In that way, with lighter paper, also we have a less carbon footprint, because we talk about the usage of water based on each kilo, but also we have to think about logistics. If we have to move paper that is 40 grams per square meter instead of 60, 70, and 80, means that also the use of fuel for each kilometer that move this paper is less. For us, for Sublitex, it's not something that will end on inbound, but we have to talk also about the delivered paper, because 80% of our turnover is based on paper sale, as I said before, all over the world. Lighter paper means less carbon footprint. If we go now into our mill, we try to explain better about the saving, compare other digital production that each of us know on natural fibers, but also on polyester. And we have a look on sustainable point of view, not only about environment, but also sustainable, because also if we have a long-term look, also the business must be sustainable. And in that period where the gas cost became crazy, this number helped us to go ahead, because the consumption is of sublimation print on the total process is 40% less, and the electricity 20% less. Why? Because it's a shorter process. We have no padding, we dry heat, we have no washing and no steaming. All of these topics help us to have what you can say on the right with energy saving for us. That is important still many years ago, but in that period it's something that cannot surprise us, but help a lot. About water. If we make a comparison about the data of consumption of water with digital process that go directly on the fabric, the use of water on all the steps, we're talking about, again, all the steps, not only the print alone, is 150 liters for each kilo. while on the paper we discussed before, 3.7 liter for each kilo. That is the water used to prepare the paper that arrived from us. This difference show the 99% less of use of water on the total process. So if who knows the sustainability report, we are talking about scope 1 and scope 2. So not only what you use on the mill, but also the water used from the supplier. The saving, again, another slide that show numbers, because we are talking about it again, what Davide says before. We are talking about a process that every one of us in this room know very well, but with this number help us, how to say, to consider better comparing other periods where the energy cost is lower. We have 40% less of process steps, is around 50% of less gas consumption, less electricity consumption, and water consumption 99% less. 99, why? Because of course on sublimation sometimes with a fabric that is not light, really light, you need to have a finishing. But since that fabric is, how to say, the pickup is very low, the use of water is very, very low on the RAM, on the finishing machine.
Okay, the process is being analyzed. Now a couple of words about the chemicals. Like it was mentioned today many times, sustainability is about control and tracking the whole supply chain. Otherwise, it's going to be greenwashing, right? So the usage of chemicals and the chemistry that is fully compliant with the major organization that certified that it is good stuff and it doesn't contain harmful material is very important. As JK, the choice was done years ago, and today we are complying not only with the European regulation. This is one of those that are definitely mandatory as European manufacturing, and we saw this morning with European Union moving also forward in order to have even more strict chemical requirement. For sure, we are complying to many brand owners, MRSRL today, that are very important in order to stay in the top and to be a good supplier for your supplier. But as a chemical manufacturer, we are a step before the supply chain, but the things that are being printed with our inks needs to meet certain requirements. And as a voluntary standard, our choice was to have the Eco Passport for more than 80% of our portfolio. The Eco Passport means for us also through an audit that we sustained a couple of years ago to become ZDHC Class 3. That also means that you are certified as a company, not only for the chemical point of view, but also for the social responsibility, and also give you access directly to major brands like Inditex and others, for example. So the choice of the chemical together with the rest, it becomes important as well as the concept in order to be demonstrability, to be tracked as a sustainable supply chain. Also, the hardware and the machine that we also represent with the mass printing solution has an important role to be on top, to be Industry 4.0, and to be also green label by ZDHC, that is the Italian Association of the Textile Machinery. And our portfolio with the machinery, it is fully compliant with this regulation that for a number of reasons that always are related to sustainability and traceability are also important for our customer. On top of that, like most people say it in presentation, we just do digital printing that by definition for a number of reasons ready to market, less waste and more efficiency are by definition more sustainable than others.
Now we deeply go ahead before the coffee break that we have only a few minutes of time. The reason why Sublitex going in this direction with this technology with MS and JK. Again, we collect again the number that we discussed before. Digital dye sublimation printing is short and smart. We are still, even if we talk about something different this morning, we are still in the world of fast fashion. So the sublimation print, since that have less step, is short and smart. Is with waterless. We discussed about the water that we save. How to say, the saving about gas, electricity, and water, that is a mistake maybe on the saving of water, because it's not 49.46, but is around 99% less.
That's correct. Yes.
And also for that reason, we choose that technology. Then that technology that help us to be short and smart and make saving, then we make a good relationship, good partnership with MS and JK. In that way, we want to grow together, to be close to the customer, because our customer at the end, if it's happy, Sublitex is happy, MS and JK, where we purchase the ink, are more happy for sure. In that way, Sublitex, since that can sell paper, that for me, and I think all of you, is a poor product, is able to be competitive all over the world, means that is a game that make each one in a win-win situation.
At the end of the presentation, I just like to stretch some concept. We presented some number of one technology. It may not be again the one technology. I do strongly believe the textile industry will nobilitate itself as more than one opportunity and technology. So it's going to be a nice mix. It's going to be a better and a wider choice for the producer, and from fiber to fiber, from job to job, will be definitely more option, and between those options, between other, we definitely believe that dye sublimation is one of that. Also, one concept to be stretched is that the cooperation within the supply chain, they used to be very secretive and not very cooperative sometimes, needs to be wider and more open. So in other words, less NDA and more working together between the various actors, because only together we can cut the corners in order to make the industry more sustainable. This is on my opinion. Huh? And thank you all for their attention, and any question are very welcome, and I hope we can reply accordingly.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Okay, so from the audience, Sublitex, how much are you printing and what percentage of that is sublimation? Do you just do sublimation, or do you print others, ink types as well?
If the answer is 1 year ago, we print only with sublimation ink. Starting from last few months, we start also to print on with pigment ink directly to the fabric. Sublimation print in the width from 160 to 187 centimeter, but we are very well known on the market for sublimation on polyester film and paper.
Okay, question. Thank you.
Any other questions from the audience? No? Okay. Thank you so much.
All right, got lucky.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.